Thus I have heard. At one time the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Vulture Peak Mountain with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, "How should the son of a lineage train who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom?" Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Venerable Sharadvatiputra with these words: "Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The five skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There is no quality of sight and so on, until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance, and so on, up to no old age and death, and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path. No wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom, and they become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, The mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Soha. Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva noble Avalokiteshvara that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage, it is so. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Sharadvati Putra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One.
Rosu Gela Puji Daze Yala Juji Yande Song Roda Jeju Nyemo Nyeno Leje Jadu Juzi Chen Mare Mese Donge Nyongo Chunye Junze Reduna Dane Doji Saji Daze Yunde Luzo Jase Doyengo Yuda Junye Jinji Dali Mese Jambe Yanandi O Ara Bazanadi O Ara Bazanadi O Ara Bazanadi Zede Jeje Chero Zeje Dali Temo Meba Rasene Gadan Tenje Jonglo Dobaye Lodu Bobe No Do So So Jebu Inje Sho Je Me Do Do Re Ro Le Je Nye De Je Bo De So Je Je Do Me De Lam Rim Chenmo Doge Shu Bin De Jo La Ga Zhen Chen Bi Gu Ne Je Zong Gu Song Tu Ji Ngu Zhu Zi Du Su Bin Zo Ge Le Xie Yue Zhen Bi Gu Tao Yue Zhu Yue Zhe Wa Gong Yue Song Ane shi jang ji jin si bi tu, xia ji zu wo de la so wa de, du ji chen bo de xin du ji chang, ju zi de lo bo da na ro ba, bin ju zhu bi bo da a de shang, yang li xin lo ji la so wa de, xiang yang tong mi yin ye na zhu de, zhu de di yu de dang zhou bi bi, si zang ge san lu ni su li ba, jia jin xu bi ji la so wa de, yang yin yu mi xiu ji lu zhu dang, da wan zhou ba ri bi ge ju qi, sang ji gong zhong ba ba ya zi su, sang mo da yu ji la so wa de, mi chong a de xiang, ga dang de bi mi bo zhong de jie, nian jiu nang ji gu qi su la su, ga dang la ma nang la so wa de, gang ji shi de zi ji zong ga ba, wen da ri bi wan shu jie za jie, dang an dian bi da bo ge zhu jie, yao zi ji ba ji la so wa de, yao song gun de la ma du ji chang, gang la gang de xin nian ci zong ne, xiu dang tu mu ngu zhu zun zi bi, zhi jie la ma na la so wa de, rang jia song ra gun la da ye mi, ge zang ta ba zhi bi jiu ngu qiu, zai yun zhi bi da ken zi ba yi, sun zi xin nian na la so wa de, jie wa gun du yang da la ma da, ri mi ji ji bi la long xue jin, sa da nang ji yin de ro zu ne, do ji chang ji gu bo yin do yu, sang ji chu dang zu ji, ju bo do da ne jiu zi qian, la ge chu ji ji bi cu na ji, do la bin xi sang ji zhu bo xiu, sang ji chu dang zu ji zhong na la, xiang ju bo do da ne jiu zi qian, la ge chu ji ji bi cu na ji, do la bin xi sang ji zhu bo xiu, sang ji chu dang zu ji zhong na, xiang ju bo do da ne jiu zi qian, la ge chu ji ji bi cu na ji, do la bin xi sang ji zhu bo xiu. 哎呀，当我是求7年一通嘛了，那可对呢，你跟我学吧是的了吧，给全部这个了，就不当不看看。
As we all know, it is important to cultivate appropriate motivations from the beginning of one's teachings or the receiving of the teachings of the Dharma.
그 전부 가르쳐 그랬어서나 아니 맞아기 추생한테 대화도 더려왔어 대화.
So why it is important? It is because when speaking about, practicing Dharma, it's a pursuit of achieving happiness. So to achieve happiness, we need to, engage in the actions that lead to happiness. For that, appropriate motivation is very important.
전주의 대화들 리더의 선대니에 변하는 추정의 세대 생기 대화 주에 들어와.
So when speaking about happiness, there are of two kinds. One is the physical comfort or physical happiness, and other is the mental happiness. The Dharma practice, engaging in the practice of the Dharma to achieve happiness, we're talking about the latter happiness that we mental happiness.
생기 대화 주 세대니 kunshi tenla tenero senla nyangyu sa ne dewa sen duwa shula ma tongji yawa shula nyangyu sa edero.
So then, achieving mental happiness, it requires a familiarizations. One's mind needs to be familiarized with the positive state of mind, with the positive kind of mind, and refraining from letting your mind become influenced by the negative state of mind. This is how we achieve mental happiness.
먼저 최대 도구 당소이나 대리 배셔야돼 대리사는 리그 말이 싸는 되네니 갈래갈래는 적으로 되나 이게 생나 공부대 때 공부대 유린데 싸네니 공부대니와 되시잖아요. 대화들 놓으셔고로.
So happiness, the mental happiness, really requires a prolonged process of familiarizing one's mind with the positive state of mind, and making one's mind influenced not by a negative state of mind, but rather the positive state of mind. It's just through a prolonged, influence of the positive state of one's mind will then become familiarized with the positive state of mind, which will lead oneself to mental happiness.
인자는 아주 최대의 내가 제나야 소수지고 있다 내가 정해 연유로 야나 마음은 되나지 있어나 야나 파마비투 야나 nomba 되게 된다를 최대의 내가 제고로 쉬어야 되나 이래 라니기 파마 아니 세제 타지.
Just most of us, when we reflect on our day-to-day activities are not really aimed towards one's own, only for oneself, isn't it? Either your day-to-day activities are probably regarding towards your relatives, your kids, or your future existence. In the same manner, when speaking about the practicing Dharma is certainly should not be aimed towards one's own self, one's own happiness. In other words, the practicing Dharma is aimed towards the achievement of happiness of self and all other sentient beings.
됐지. 당가족에 교노줘야 되니 가르쳐 볼 사다니 가족에 생기토는 연유 타신 바대니 너무 선지 장된 데서는 다니 제거로 생기토는 연유 타신 바 대화 때인데 대화 더 장해져.
So now here the Buddha, who is Buddha Shakyamuni, in other words, is a perfect example for someone who have gained the ultimate state of happiness. He has gained the ultimate state of happiness through a prolonged familiarization with the positive state of mind.
되게 란데모 본자멜이 되노라 아니 domba세나 아니 개개세나 아니 멤버세나 dom바투면 보대 문에 제나다 세리바다 태모지 나제기 강사지 장들어 줄로 계제게 마셔네요.
So this is a kind of noble beings who can be considered as a teacher, who can be considered a spiritual leader, or the spiritual guidance, who can be considered as one's own mentor and so forth.
저는 된주기 담바체는 랑게 된저나 칼라 미바체. 아니 란다와네 세제 랑게 되제 바바들 세제 상실. 아니 대다게 된다 되게 주비 된다는 저기 이 강랑 땜바나지 지가티 란데는 로에 대치되는 애들이 전혀가 인세 된다 되리다.
So now let's visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, as we mentioned earlier, that he is a teacher, mentor, or the spiritual teacher. By visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni, and imagine that you are surrounded by all other sentient beings, and having a genuine wish to follow the path that he has followed, that he had followed, and committing yourself to really to to engage in the practice or traveling on the path that is shown by Buddha Shakyamuni. Since this particular month is again a very special month, which commemorates Buddha's birth, parinirvana, and enlightenment. So it is to say that if you are able to engage in practice of the Dharma, it accumulates a tremendous amount of merits. So therefore, let's try our best to visualize Buddha in front of oneself as vivid as possible, and by cultivating appropriate motivations to receive the Dharma, teachings of the Dharma. So if we can just close the door. So
you're going to call it boot trade, this book. No, Lam Rim book called trade.
Lam Rim book.
Book. Yeah, she's no English.
Inji logo marasa.
Okay.
I'm
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Islamic in soro. Koi nge lab kyo ko types in part. Islamic now types in tangwa sa.
Okay, yeah.
Google Translate.
Okay. Yeah. Come on.
So let's meditate for 3 minutes. It's a good thing. We could do that.
Already, okay.
A special sign, though.
That's right.
Oh, that did right.
Oh my goodness.
상주 되죠. 대체 당한테 된다. 알래요. 저거는.
Mendos.
네. 저거는 질러서 되죠. 다게.
Mendos 막 시작하 뒤시작하죠. This part.
알래. 저거는.
Yeah, we can move it.
네. 야마한테 데려다.
Totally.
미기 방식. 미 신내로 때 가는 잘라다.
You can put it on the box. Yeah. The donation box will be fine. Yeah.
야. 당가서 경로 치버치지가네. 그 셈버세이 주에네 상조랑지는 바지로.
With these appropriate motivations, the teachings that you are receiving today is Lam Rim Chenmo, the graduated path to enlightenment. What is meant by Jangchup Lam Rim is a path to achievement of ultimate state of happiness.
하는 게 단절하는 게 땀바다에는 가서 팀모이 개개인의 팀모이에는 된리게 네 집에 바리나 템베 가르송에서는 다 되면 되는 데 시셔 소에서 들어. 나중에 땀바다 가서 이 잠만이 진영에는 개개인의 팀모이에는 멤버이나 오늘 템베 가르송샤여서는 저한테 레그로. 아니 템베 가르송샤여서는 아니 템베 아니 메센 되게 제단 도스 제쇼 아니 저와심만 도스 로쇼 아니 되네 아니 답안 전 로쇼 되네 선제 통제된 조비 선제 되는 로쇼 선에 손상이 아니 주지로.
So the teachings, the actual description of the teachings of the Buddha in general. So he teaches us how to live our life, and how to engage in the practice to achieve happiness, and how not only just happiness or mundane happiness, but also how we can, gain the state of complete enlightenment. So this is the overall teachings of the Buddha.
당한 로인다. 당한 로인 가서 사기다. 다 도스 제대는 가서 제단 안에 되게네. 되게 대대네 사진으로 가서 보는 시에서는 소 사진시고는 소에래 해서라다.
So the Lam Rim is has the main four outlines, which all those descriptions of the teachings of the Lam Rim can be explained under those four outlines.
되지. 다 동부 아니 주훈 좀 받던 배신 제법이 저와 세네. 내 송법을 서리 개체들.
The greatness of the author given in order to show the teachings has a noble source.
다 당하는 기바집이지 주지 저와 세네.
Showing the
동바되게 손비 주들 가려요.
Showing the greatness of the teachings in order to engender the respect for the instructions.
원하 된르기 동바 자천보다 주 자천보다 오늘 대란 뉴시 가르쳐 버려. 사제 송바.
So if this is how important and has such a noble source, then how can we listen to these teachings and how can we teach these teachings? Will be the third.
다 자이 종 아마테 아니 자이 사제 잡아가느라 당한 거죠. 너무 저들이 봤을 때 자이 사제 잡아.
The main descriptions or the teachings of the Lam Rim Chenmo can be explained under this fourth outlines, which is the sequence in which the disciples are to be taught the actual instructions.
아주 현대 이쁘게 되게 토말린 거 가르쳐 그러서는 개개지 때네. 근데 로저제는 거 쪽으로.
Just like the children's in the beginning, they need to rely upon their teachers to gain to have a knowledge or the educations.
다들 추석에 개개 야도 당시에 되는 기회만 롱바카에네 그런 개개 가에는 로에로 당도 추에나 근데 런지 자와 신이 된 비슷해네 개개 쓰던 데 맞지라네 된거에 개 정보지.
However, when speaking about the kids actually relying on their teacher, we're not, really examining how the teacher is and so forth. Rather, it is when the kid, it is time for the kid to go to, kindergarten or preschools, whoever the teacher there may be, so they will just rely upon those teacher. But when speaking about relying upon the teacher, the spiritual teacher or the Dharma teacher, here and then it is important for us to know the teacher actually possesses the quality. Teacher actually is qualified to teach the Dharma.
초바제는 문제이 치바데다 시토고로 단단가 주체데 로조세데 미통라지 예 아니 로조지 되고로 단다게 추제로 개겐생에 되게 생기 도경에 된다라다 동의지로 배 델리 배 처모처모 대유도는 은혜 개겐세다 되면은 연유도는 송거에 들어로.
So it is because why the Dharma teacher should be a really experienced who is completely qualified to teach a teaching is because when speaking about the practicing Dharma, we're not really focusing on achieving temporary happiness. In other words, just mere physical happiness, but rather we are in pursuit of achieving mental happiness. For that, the teacher must have experience. Teacher must gain experiential knowledge rather than intellectual knowledge. So through his or her own experience, then teacher can teach his or her disciples to achieve mental happiness.
델리 개초지시나 아니 멤버와 멤버에 네발에 메로버트는 배사그로.
Then if you speak even more important here is if the teacher should be considered as a physician. So therefore, if the physician, prescribed a wrong medicine to the patients or the sick person, then it will be a tragic, isn't it? So therefore, it is very, very important to rely upon a qualified spiritual teacher.
당아마 사진로이다. 다때는 로제다자 이름발라니 아니 뒤에는 니보는 비시고다 니보 제단에 비치니 다 동보지 다 니보 제단에 비치되는 랑지 나자랑 니보제다 니보는 증거지 다 동보지사 다 니보는 증거들 소지 주부 총연도 대모양 랑지를 만양선은 주변 전도 대모양 주변 천변 랑지를 만양선은 다 동보지 다 주변도 대모양 랑지를 만양선은 지지 주변 전게 삼바장 대지비 델로로바도 봤어요 타바다 대주변 랑지를 때나 봐봐지 다때는 가서 제바 타바다 대주변 랑지를 때나 봐봐 생각 될래되지 안 될래네 리테드 센데니 요나네는 가서 아니 센데세대로 아무서 다 내가 관련되어서나 나서게 저와 토마 매번에 대사게 사전 될 거라 존조전에 대기인배 될 사체 야와지는 로인베스 좋아지고 언로나 간으로 그래 세들 하체들 얘기지.
So now we're on the chapter of ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberations. Right? So under this headlines, what this actually asks us is now, if you are longing to achieve mental happiness, and how can we really achieve mental happiness? What are the methods and skillful means to achieve mental happiness? So then, and this particular chapter actually teaches us how we can, through mental practice, through mental development, how we can actually free ourselves from cyclic existence or the samsara. So then you could ask a question to yourself that, is it okay for me to come back to this cyclic existence time and again, and not freeing myself from this cyclic existence? And if you have developed a strong disenchantment towards this secular existence, and not only just having a disenchantment is sufficient, but you need to know how yourself to really distance yourself from the secular existence. So
당가서 간사 지기 꼬라 슈저버데 뇌네 기 통마로 왔다. 저시만의 연주 버그제 연주 경고제 연주 버그제 연주 경고제 로데데 것도 시고 말다. 잠블린데라 경고네 버그네 경고 꼬라저 지금 로데데 것도 라지로.
So it is obvious that we all, wandering within this unenlightened existence, that we all know, regardless of the age, race, whoever, individual, so long as they are samsaric beings, so long as they are not gained state of enlightenment or they are not freed themselves from samsaric existence, we are all wandering within this secular existence, unable to go beyond this secular existence.
다 진리기 꼬라텔이 이미지처럼 꼬라텔이 자고 말이 꼬라텔에 타여여레스. 아니 타나네 그 리텐 간지질에 타이게 타셨던 것은 리텐 가속이 땡 리텐 드리질에 타셨던 거. 아니 다 semba 간지질은 로고서는 아니 semba 라벨로바서 냐스네는 로고레세 되래. 당가서 뒤고 두대.
So then how can we really free ourselves from this secular existence? Is there a possibility that we can really achieve liberation from secular existence or samsara? Then yes, there are. So then, if it is possible, then what kind of, the rebirth or the form of rebirth that we need to achieve to really engage in practice to achieve liberations? So the most conducive form of life is said to be human life. So by having this precious human rebirth, we have all this, wonderful capacity to engage in the practice, to go beyond the secular existence, in other words, to gain liberations.
근데 저는 뭐는 지금 라디오 때 비선 지어다. 수준세나 아니 두자텔 마로 송쇼세더라. 두자쇼라 마도 정다스. 망아시지.
So I forgot the earlier translation. So therefore, in order to achieve, liberation from samsara, one then need to follow the practice of the Tripitaka, or the baskets of the teachings of the Dharma. And out of all this, the ethical discipline, the practice of the ethical discipline or the moral discipline is a basis for development of all other practices.
딱로 두자쇼라 마동 망아시디 아니 망아네 템포 대쇼세 될 띵인지 레발레 그지.
So, based on this practice of moral discipline, one should not let one's mind, go after the negative deeds, negative activities, negative actions. In order to be mindful of that particular actions, then that requires the next baskets of the teachings, which is the concentrations.
sen duja쇼라 마당데 송체 아니 sen 템포 때네 대장제 야제로야 게요 말어. 다 대강네 야쇼로 로야게 아니 제바체쇼 세요디 싫어질러 봐.
So then again, being single-pointed mindfulness or the concentration alone is not the adequate practice to really reach oneself beyond secular existence or the samsara. So for that, again, it requires what is good to be adapted and what is bad need to be, abandoned. For that, it requires wisdom that discriminates what is good and what is bad, what is to be adapted and what is to be abandoned.
드르체네 로파소기 단다 아마 도도라고 지 소소기 지소 대랑이라 칼로는 오늘 유연해서리 말이 다지체다.
So it is with this kind of understanding then one follow the three high trainings of the Dharma.
대체 당가서 사진 로인다. 당가서 대나 수준제 로발로지. 아니 가서 노디버시 줘봐 샤오 세티. 맞은 대나 수준제 수준라 로신 도디시 줘봐 샤오. 될라서 대체 아니 가서 겁데 대인 바카서 주변 정이 가도 될라. 아니 러버지 현다니데 아니 디카톨리 시가 말해. 쇼는 시가 될라니 수준제 로반도 되지 저기 인소에 들어와.
So we're on that page 342. Page 342, okay? Begins from which third paragraph? In the beginning, it says. In the beginning. So we went through that, the 16th aspect of the knowledge of the 16, the knowledge of this 16th aspect constitutes the training in wisdom. So we went through that, right? So it's just in the beginning, is that right? In the beginning, reflect repeatedly on the benefits of the ethical discipline and develop enthusiasm for it from the depth of your heart.
당연히 맞대서 로이론 로인다. 저바샤오제 될라 토마네 제로 수준제 편다 수준제 편 양다양도 세네 니 타바네 조슈 페와 샤데 냥엘렌데바 쳔볼레 수준의 게유치 탕제제 텐게소 신라소비 자와 로 사인바다 자와오 춘바 탕제제 토마 로와다 게유치 탕제제 토마 로오 니 자신치 쓰다래 좋아 대바드질로다
So here it says, as the great final Nirvana Sutra states, ethical discipline is a ladder to all virtues. It is their foundation, just as the earth is the foundation for plants and the like. Just as the master taters goes first among all taters, so ethical discipline goes first among all virtues.
long. Tenga zu tenjiro wa ngazu kanda kangyen na ben ngazu sachayen na jin zhe je na sacha de jibo yer se de kwalon ro de je je ro. De na yi de yuen de xie so na de yi shuo le lo shu che ren zhou re zhuo pe ge de. Ni zhuo pe ro de shu chen bo ye so ne de zang ji ga le ye ma re. De bo me jin de che na che cha ye je wa.
So it is just as where if we wanted to go some other place, the place that you are not familiar with, and you need to know how that place is. Is it good to go? Is it desirable to be there? And so on and so forth. And you should know the quality of that place and so forth. In the same manner, when speaking about this, the three high trainings, what kind of benefits or what kind of quality and what makes you to actually encourage yourself to engage in Dharma practice. For that, first we go through the qualities of this, high trainings of ethical disciplines. What kind of quality and what kind of, and the benefit that you may gain out of engaging in the practice of moral discipline. So most of the time, we're not really having a genuine enthusiasm for engaging in the practice of the Dharma. If you really have a genuine enthusiasm for engaging in the practice of the Dharma, and you will not really feel tired, or you will not really, become yourself of lack of energy and so forth. So therefore, it requires a genuine enthusiasm for engaging in the practice of the Dharma. Just like a kids, when they are playing, they play tirelessly, unless the elder, the adults go and stop them, they will not stop. Even they they are sweating, and you see that how tired they may be, but they're still very happy to play, continue to play. So it is because they are so enthusiastic about their playing, right? In the same manner, if you are so enthusiastic about engaging in the practice of Dhamma, and you will not really get tired, or you will not be, you will not feel that you are lack of energy and so forth. Just like even when we see a certain object that you really see a quality of that object, and you really think that that is the object that you really needed, and then you have certain enthusiasm to really to get that object, right? So it says, look, ethical discipline is the ladder to the all virtues, right? So just even to let alone that gaining a state of enlightenment or the liberations requires, as ethical discipline, but even to get a human rebirth in one's future life, it requires ethical discipline. So therefore, ethical discipline is a ladder, or it also serves as a foundation for development of our spiritual practice, spiritual realization. Someone who is not engaging in the proper, moral discipline, engaging in the practice of proper moral discipline, it is analogous to a field that is not well maintained. It is that plenty of rocks and all kind of unfavorable or unfavorable conditions of growing the sprouts and plants and so forth. So, however, if someone who is engaging in the proper practice of the moral discipline is analogous to a properly maintained field that is ready to grow the plants and sprouts out of seeds and so forth. Even if you look at our conventional world, in our day-to-day experience, if you look at someone who is not really following the rules and regulations of the particular areas and particular region, and such an individual will always remain under anxiety and fear, because he or she know that he is not really following the rules, and he or she may be caught at some time, have this kind of remaining under a continuous, worrisome. So to practice Dharma for the benefit of other beings, it should be begin from oneself. In order to benefit other beings, in order to help other beings, we should begin from ourselves to subduing one's own negative state of mind and maintaining the peaceful state of your mind and becoming yourself a better person. And then only once you are, prepare yourself by subduing your negative state of mind, one can then able to help other beings. Because if one remains so ferocious and not subduing your negative state of mind, you're remaining under total control, letting your mind predominant by those negative states of thoughts and emotions, it is not possible. One can really, help other beings.
지당 아주 다뤄 진배는 춘지 됐어 춘지 대화 되거라 다 대화대 지보 연비가라 있는 가래는 랭거배 지레마도 나다 걸 가래는 랭거배 도여지지 마라.
So therefore, as a result of practice and morality, it's one gains happiness. One gains happiness. As a result of practicing, generosity, one gains wealth and so forth.
나 신라소비니 자와지 니 추춘소소나니 디고를 띵엔제 고추 추추도아 스트리 마소발라 알레카투 메투비가나 니 자와들레 진다 르부 더에지데 민도아 스트리세네 사나 예예니 힘이 자와조사로.
So then it is their foundations. It's a foundation, and just as the earth is the foundation for the plants and the like.
아니 총배세계대 총박이 동물로 그래서도 대나기 교화지에서는 동부 매개하셔 줘야 돼 가그세대로 왔다 간지 지를 송 그래.
Just as the master traders goes first among all traders, so ethical discipline goes first among all virtues. What it means here is now, when you are willing to engage in the practice of the Dhamma, first of all, we need ourselves to refrain from engaging in negative deeds. Therefore, we need to first making sure that you're actually, abstaining from all those negative actions of body, speech, and mind.
근데 이 배등가 배인지로만도다 아리노만도다 제첨벌이 지지스 개매와 먼저 배는 저도 제와인의 대련도 총바스디 지제세대로 총바 전들의 루루제는 저윤도 지체시 된건 되기도 총바 지제사 네 자와서 제세기도 네 침바 gen제세 맞아 배인지로만도 nombaltil라 드리지면도.
So it is that the example that we have here is completely on the particular area of the region of Tibet. In Tibet, when we look at the ranking of the people among the wealthy people, so people who actually sits on the first row of the place, is said to be, that's right. Hierarchy is made on the basis of their wealth, So then the hierarchy in the monastic discipline, in the monastic system, the hierarchy is made on the basis of who is more senior in terms of receiving vows and so forth, and so forth. And in terms of hierarchy in the general society in Tibet, and hierarchy is made on the basis of who is elder. The elderly people is said to be more, higher than the younger people and so forth. So this, actually, example is given. It's not relevant here, I think so. So it's only in Tibet. So.
this Toman Disada, Jajinji Jensen Jimbata, Sendo, Taluinda. Jajinji Jensen Jimbata, Chutanji Jensen, Dibatanji Karsa, Dibatanji Tan, Niesungi, Lang, Ten Jomba was, Dibi Netanji Soye, Menji, Dombo Tabo was, Sibi Lang, Yang Judge Tsonsos. Nyomobi, Janjombi, Guatsan. Nyomobi Juduba, Sevi, Ringasos. Dibi Chile Jubi, Samba, Sheba Tans, Gombuludu Jes, or Tibatalurgi.
So then here it says, like the hoisted banner of the Indra, ethical discipline is the banner of all teachings. It cuts down all sins and eliminates the path to the miserable realms. Since it it cures all the illness of the sins, it is like a medicinal plant. Ethical discipline is a stack of provisions for the terrible road of cyclic existence. It is the weapon that destroys the afflictions, the enemies. It is the spill that destroying the poisonous snakes of the afflictions. It is the bridge to cross over the water of sins.
내가 decision decision 주의자여라. 배는 가서라 가서라 양보 자신이 샤는 진세대 가진 그거 반에 진사로. 샹천들이 진세에서라.
개진게.
되도. 라 자신이 진세 좀 받아. 아니 수춘 생애의 선지지 땜비 진세라고 되래서. 가서 진세 진세디 슈 저로 왔대는 거지.
So it is on the banner of India. It looks like the main hand implement of the God Indra. So the banner is again really auspicious sign in Buddhism. You have all this, the banners. Once you have this banner is a sign for gaining victory over Maras. And so therefore, this ethical discipline is analogous to a banner that you're hoisting a banner claiming that you are victorious. You become victorious over the negative deeds and so forth.
저당 아주 선지지 때문에 내다만 해서 또 있는 디와이 샤lên 로바 추천지 로바 라랭도. It is also
said that whether or not that there is a teachings of the Dharma exist, it depends on whether or not there is a existence of the ethical discipline, the moral disciplines. So long as there is a moral discipline existed, then teachings of the Dharma is always there. The teachings of Buddha's teaching is always there.
정방어세 되더라. 맞으면은 수준여시 좀 맞추 비쳤어야 돼. 수준생에데 아니 네바 탕지기 아니 다바생이게 아니 처리해서 배자로 저런 거지 수준여시 좀 맞추 비치. 녀마사도세 다유여서 쇼송해라.
So then it cuts down all sins and eliminates the path to the miserable realms. So the ethical discipline or the moral discipline is said to be the water that actually cleanses all the faults. In other words, it's analogous to the water that cleanses all the faults. And in the Lam Rim Chenmo stated that the ethical discipline is said to be analogous to the water just actually cleanse all the stains. Even though the stains are so strong and intense, as long as you engage in the ethical discipline, it can be washed away. And it's also said that as a moon of lightening the darkness of the unethical behavior.
디비네 던져줘 메시지 녀모 사도세 인다유여세 지버려라 녀모비 네 던져 세바시메 아니 사동을 빼자 됐으면 다유 지반으로 근데
So it cuts down all the sins and eliminate the path to the miserable realms. So referring to the ethical discipline.
시비 향하이 자소세디 가서 빼는 가서 코안델라 동해 녀도 녀신비가라 내가 텐데 내가 대화연대에 가리 제르잖아 아니 저 한만나서 스트레이트에서 손비 로 저거 유튜브가라 칼라사에 자소리지 손도 신랑 양아의 참배가라 자노.
So even in being within the secular existence, of course, we all know that we experience certain happiness, isn't it? And then again, our experiencing of this physical and mental happiness in the secular existence does not come from nowhere, but it has its own causes and conditions. It is said that whatever the temporary happiness that we may experience in this secular existence, it is a result of your previous practice of ethical discipline.
맞아 배우는 긴카 사야데 녀선들이 자주로서 그러다 자두도스 그래 대년반에 미시 가서 자두서 로세디 로치기 사야 되냐 선도에 단랑가는 가서 자 그거 세딘디니 타정 보진 줘서나 이니 가센 돈 세트 커는 로그로 딜랑가를 깔레가 저것도 손에 사야도 걸어 단 농바텔은 디기 타녀요 말어 그 간로서는 사혼지로지만 맞은데 배 인데스 배에서 거대우 쇼여는 거 통해 배바이나.
So these are, the examples and analogies are all made based on that this is something that is relevant in that particular area, the particular region. But there are some examples that are not very much relevant in here in the United States. Because then also it says like if you have enough rations or eatable or foods and so on, I suppose that if you are traveling from here to somewhere else, but in Tibet those days there's no place where you can go and buy and eat, or there's no restaurants and so forth. You have to carry your food on the back. So you should know how much food that you need to be able to get that particular destinations. The place you're aiming to reach. So you have to have enough food of stock that you need to carry with you. In the same manner, you have to have enough, ethical discipline, the practice of moral discipline, until you can reach the beyond samsara.
당연히 이렇게 되는 것이 자고 또 녀몬 좀비 고생했으디 맞아 저러면지 단대 데려다 저기 있는 현보다버지 또지 뒤범에 번조긴 되세죠. 고창에서 개면나요. 수천ran지래 땜비지 가사강가 생진내 되겠지. 맞아요. 녀모 사돈 세윈다이 저기 있는 현보다버지 또지 뒤범에 번조긴 되세요. 수천 송비 젠샤나니 녀모비 다 산에 드리들이 치드니는 이보때면 거지. 장슈진 되도야지 자고.
So it says it is a weapon that destroys the afflictions, the enemies. So long as you have this practice of ethical disciplines or the moral discipline, it actually, destroys your enemy, the enemy that is within us. We're not talking about the enemy that we, conventionally known as enemy as someone else or some individual, but rather here enemy referring to one's own undisciplined state of mind. So once you have this practice, you have prepared, you have a practice of moral discipline, it will automatically destroys the afflictions, which is our enemy.
그래서 된다 시번에 녀몬도 고차서 고대보다 녀모비 두두세비니 매야고 링하세나 거리 메보성이 인디비추레디비 삼바레.
It's also said to be a medicine, and it says it's a spell of destroying the poisonous snakes of the afflictions. It is also the bridge to cross over the water of the same. Let's take a 15 minutes break here. So let's read through the text.
Jeten laba sonji, shedanji, bonzagi shubi yule jang. Cheta lodo tangji salane, tene jumi bane jewa da. Deje tsutrin tene chuga chu. Niji chuni pene namba je she sumba da son mo sodo. Deba chilo sharji. Tenda rehi jasa chibanendo.
So let's read through the text here. The protector Nagarjuna has as well says, ethical discipline, like the ground supporting the animate and inanimate worlds, is said to be the foundation of all good qualities. And the Tantra requested by the Sabhua says, just as every harvest grows without fault in dependence on the earth, so too do the highest virtue depend on ethical disciplines and grow by being moistened with the water of compassion.
다 켈라 대티건에 된저히 저거 민도 다니 로사서 고대부리 집어져 샀어. 켈라네 마소나 님이 신도 제대에서 경로라 로드 제변 돌에 라리 추진 대화대 라리 추진 동행이지 추진 대바 대화대 추진 차와 동행 로시 켈람바데 페다 님이 니기 쇼스로와 손소 대시르 님이 나자 네바산라 로발라 로드 규바샤오지.
So then here it says, you should reflect on the benefit of keeping ethical discipline in accordance with the above cited passages. There are very grave consequences for if you undertake an ethical discipline and then fail to keep it. The sutra beloved by the monks, Bhikshu Pariju Sutra says that once you undertake a training, it will proceed in either advantageous or the disadvantageous directions. The ethical discipline of the some leads to the pleasure, the ethical disciplines of others lead to pain. Those who possess ethical discipline are happy, and whereas those who break ethical discipline suffer. Therefore, you should also think about the drawback of not keeping to ethical discipline and thereby generate great respect for those trainings.
되게 지단대로와 지단에 나가 추진세서나 지단 추진되지. 딱 아주 뒤지대래 제바단 제비토네로와 다 예바유에 지단 네 제바단 많이 제장이세고로 다 간지 제바단 만제비 예비유에지. 베네마세바다베나 제바다 데메니 니깔은 예바유에 지저로. 다 추진켈렌사디 뒤간에 제비기 예바제인데 예바니 자래 지저로. 대나기 추진대 배조 땅 마시나 아니 추진대 양 대라 땜비기 디바 퇴배 용해지어라. 주님 라라 추진 동에서 대차기도. 베나라시 카나마도와 제비 카나마도 세우로 니여로. 대노게니 제비 카나마도와 대마송 말 추진대 야보 마송나 아니 라시지 카나마도 이 니비 강나 아니 제비니 받을래. 아니 대게니 디바 동에 용해지지.
So if we do not know how to keep our ethical discipline, how to preserve our ethical discipline, then it's a very great danger to us. There are some ethical discipline. It is discipline that one needs to refrain from certain activities because that particular activity is in nature it is a negative act such as killing and so forth. But then on top of that, there's a prescribed, the prescribed ethical discipline vows that need to be taken. So, for instance, if you are engaged in certain activities that in nature that is negative deeds, it is negative deeds. Once you have engaged in such negative deeds, you accumulate negative karma. But if you have taken vows, then you also having you double that negative deeds, right? You are actually, you're actually generating the natural vows as well as the prescribed vows at the same time. So therefore, if you're unable to preserve carefully those ethical discipline or moral discipline, then that's a great danger of degenerating all these vows, the vows that are prescribed and the natural vows.
대인 지민중에서 산업화진다 마도는 변으로 롬바디기 튕다팀 변은 콤바디노로 콤바디기 튕다팀이 거는데나 콤바디네 댕에 강갈 시대도 콤바디는 팀만큼의 질에서나 콤바디네 댕에 강갈 시대 해금도
Just like let's take a simple example of one family being in one one house.
Benendi apartment in beto de wodo bejana.
And let's take a, this particular apartment itself as an example. If you follow the codes and conduct or the rules and regulation of the particular apartment, then that makes everyone happy, isn't it? Those who break the rules of those, and rules and regulation of this particular apartment, not only they're actually, risking themselves, but also making unhappy other neighboring, your neighboring, the families or the tenants. So therefore, you could see that ethical, practicing ethical discipline is to really to remain calm and really be peaceful, right?
Kundi no dengi tindi kumena kanda ki kundi no biswa yana jemane kumbaragmendo. Tiki kugi tindi makwa yin zan tindi kare ko kange tiki sobar.
So then, in worst case, if the individual really breaks the rules and do all sorts of things, and then finally the manager or the owner of the apartment should expel the person and let him go. And then if the individual has such a reputation, we're unable to find their apartment in the future. So look at it, how bad it is, not being able to observe the rules and regulations. So the same thing. That's what it says, ethical discipline of some leads to pleasure, some leads to pain.
다 간지 nomba 시대 세네리 마총 시대 세네리 가사 gel에 시대 용나 세데 추주소는 시대 용거다. 시대 마소는 시대 진의 용사라고 말해.
So without having moral discipline, peaceful situation or the peaceful mind, it's not possible at all. With no discipline, ethical discipline, with no moral discipline. Let's take an example of one individual who is completely ignoring the moral discipline, and such an individual will not be in peace at all. Period. So we should know that we have to look for a peace, and if we were to look for a peace, how do you start? What is the beginning? How do you actually begin to look for? How can we really begin to look for a peace?
다 제달로비 치네서 어나 다 추진이 라바 간절하고 그러잖아. 아니 동안주 제절에서 가서 강에 가는 책을서나 아니 강에 제절에 되는 강에 책을 쓰이더라. 제달로비 치네서 동안주 제절에서 미시비 동안주 예번에 네 로자나라 아니 그래서 녀네 셔바샤오스 데 리레신데데데로샤.
So therefore, you should also think about the drawbacks of the not keeping the ethical disciplines, and thereby generate great respect for the trainings. So there are 4 causes of an infractions: not knowing the precepts, precept, and carelessness, and disrespect. Right?
데 세보세 장차송하러 하모고는 당가서 모치가지다 하모고는 강인 제거하러 근데 뭐 병원에 있으네요. 근데 미시비 원에 모치가지 가서 강인 제거.
So here, most of the infractions, the causes of infraction for us is not knowing. That is for sure. So this is the real cause for us, not knowing the precept.
됐지. 밤에 비님보는 이제 밤에 비 동안주고 고 간을 까고 그래서나 아니 런던지 내라 마지바 템바시. 아니 최최도 고송 소소도지 레바 아니 주시바시비 시제당스 다건 최종원도 샤나 년발은 집이 원차당 연제매도 원 집이 천여 년시제 남면은 지네 바쿠바 소라 로보 송도 되지. 밤에 빌려가.
So then it says, disrespect, and the various afflictions. As a remedy for not knowing the precept, listen to and understand the precepts. As a remedy for carelessness, train in attitudes such as mindfulness, which does not forget, which ends to adopt and which to cast aside. Okay, and then vigilance, which immediately examine the three doors of your body, speech, and the mind, and understand the right or wrong in which you are engaged. The shame which actually shuns fault committed with respect to oneself or the teachings. Embarrassment which shuns wrongdoing and think others will criticize.
배 고대월 배면선으로 가서 지 나인 쇼세이저로 내가 나인 쇼서 땡땡만 전에 걸로 뺀 모터 더쇼나 나인 전에 더쇼샤고.
So carelessness is one of the cause again here. We have to be very careful of one's own moral discipline, the practice of moral discipline, because the carelessness is one of the door that opens all these infractions.
지다에는 가서 데려와 몇대 세대임에 가르는 원사 친여행에 미지 그래로 원사 친여생이 돼 롱바 지대 매출로 되는 원사 친이 매차서나 몇대 나부명이 자로.
So here it also talks about importance of having importance of importance of not being oneself as being a carelessness about embarrassment. And if you are not embarrassed of doing anything, you will do everything, right? So you should be embarrassed of what you are doing. You should be ashamed of what you are doing. If something that you are doing not right, you should be ashamed. If something that you are not doing right and you are doing something bad to others and oneself, you should be embarrassed. So if someone who do not know how to embarrass, who do not know be ashamed by certain actions, then such an individual is said to be not a good person. It is like someone whose mind is not in a natural condition, someone who is mentally ill. Just like someone who is not embarrassed with whatever they do. It's just like someone a drunk person, in other words, someone who is completely intoxicated by some substances and so forth. And such individual have no shame and have no embarrassment. So one should be ashamed with regard to others. One should have embarrassment with regard to one should be ashamed with regard to oneself, and one should be embarrassed. One should have embarrassment with regard to oneself and others. Sorry. So without having this, and then we speak all kind of things that is harmful to others, and we do all sort of things that is harmful to others and oneself.
다 마규가 동안 좀 고생이 돼 가야를 가르니 보가르자 그러잖아. 아니 마규비 녀번에서 덤바다 대이 제베 참모레 제바다 참바 총바 쉬어봐 나라 교바 샤오 선도아.
마규바 demba.
다 마규비 녀번에.
So then it says it says embarrassment which shuns wrongdoing and think others will criticize me, and trepidation which fears the future karmic fruitions of wrongdoing. As a remedy for disrespect, have respect for the teacher and his rules and your fellow practitioners.
Digi nga so karik chen lego arsana ro rang le to la ni karere thado nyambala drensen rang le mebale ni karere tonchu do de karel tene yo arsana magi pai tene yo war
Why we are having a,
enjimi
you know,
mebale jagamare
we don't really have to think about the teacher or someone who's or the Buddha or whatever. If you look at ourselves, and we can really witness ourselves through our own experience. If someone who you think is better than you, we have jealousy, right? We always have a jealousy towards that person. Someone who is in the same position as ourselves, we have sense of competitiveness. We wanted to compete with this person. When you see they are in an equal state, and you wanted to compete with that person, and someone whom you think is a Lord in yourself, we have a tendency to humiliate those and things. So, if you have, if you have this, embarrassment and have a sense of shame, so then you will not engage in such, negative deeds.
Teaching was a garden there. Condo Sudan Rubis, Dani Kilame, Jana Sama Chuta Jaban Zimbasho say they go over.
So that actually takes back to the teachings of the 8 verses of trainings of the mind. Whomever and whoever, wherever you go, one should look at oneself as a Lord and Lord and others.
Tenduchi and the Janet be showing it, pitchy some Messiah and Rochero. So Rangi Gaboches, Cubaches, nobody Messiah and Rochero.
So if you have, if you have such a, mental attitude, then regardless of, whom, with whom you associate with, and with whom you go, wherever you go, you will not have such a feeling of jealousy, sense of competitiveness, and humiliation, and so forth.
Then you moment don't you go say the tongue also can't check your derota. Jula de Nemo Kang, Shichawa de Nebo Den, Nebo Ben Den Osa. Deta Mimbeba, Detsale, Gayon, Jen Chung on and the Sane, number Karsa, Jeba Nala, Payans, Ju Nane, Donghem Bashi Tap de Lon Angeles.
Then it says, as a remedy for various afflictions, examine your mind and energetically apply the remedies for the whatever afflictions predominant. Those who fail to make an effort in this way, who follow the rules in a lax fashion, thinking that even though they have transgressed, it is merely a small fault. So will then gain only as suffering.
Take Tanda Carisen and also Teda Nazo Nesiro, Tangason de Chashada, Timoso, you Toma Meban, Tandapa, the Betty, Combichan the Dead. Civil Secharo.
So one thing that's very clear that, right from the beginning last time up until now, we are, predominated by our 3 afflictions in the 3 poisonous mind: attachment, hatred, and ignorance.
Tade Lane to the Candidatos and the Sosu Jula Tajice, any one de Chashuchawayana, any Tela Nibote, Timo Shuchawayana, Tela Nibote, any Karangaja Shuchawayana, any Jean Nemo Shuchawa, Rapa Karina, any Tela Nibote and Grace.
So what it says here is now, examine yourself and try to look at yourself and see, which affliction is more predominant, and then try to identify that afflictions and apply remedy towards that. For instance, if you know that your attachment is more predominant than other afflictions, and then you prepare to apply remedy towards such attachment. In the same manner, if you know that your anger or the hatred is more predominant, then prepare to apply a remedy towards anger or hatred. And if you know that there's the ignorance is more predominant, so then prepare to apply remedy towards ignorance.
Chida pangye roto dharo pang ba de rapa de cherin de ma pang. Ani nye po de chungri ne aje kor se de ro.
So,
Pangye ire ba de.
so this is how you actually apply this remedy, in a proper. This is a proper sequence of actually applying remedy. Whichever the predominant ones need to be, combat with. For us, we need to apply antidotes towards. To choose the gross level of negative deeds or the negative afflictions, whichever the most whichever that is in the manifesting condition or the manifestedly existence, need to be applied remedy and get rid of from one's mind.
되지. 당가서 간이 놓치 쇼거서는 된도 좋아. 근데 디바이너를 동아이나 데다 충충을 샤나 지그레스네. 아니 시세잖아요. 아니 콜니 보면 되는데 자스그레스. 아니 되게 뱅골로 제그레 손도다.
So this is one thing that it does, text actually talks about is that we have a tendency that when even though that we know that we are transgressing our vows and so forth, but we just ignore them. It's just a small fault, small fault. I can engage in a purification practice later and so forth. And this is how, this is the kind of tendency that we do have, even though that that you just take it so lightly, and it's just a little bit, and it's just minor, so it doesn't matter, and so forth.
주선도 내가 선다 다간지 당받던 당된진이나 제받던 로아 제된진이 소나 니때 용 변종해 버려가 손나길 변종해 버려.
So this kind of infraction likely to arise more in the renunciate ones, the monks and bhikshus and bhikshunis and novice, because they have all kinds of vows. There are a lot of different kinds of vows, root vows and secondary vows and so on and so forth. So if you take it lightly, then it is likely to go through a degeneration of their vows. So you have to be very careful and observe those vows vigilantly.
지제디 단단한 손 되게 저데 차부 쉬우지로 지제디 소소 제대데 손도 소지로.
So it is all, the explanation that we find here is everything that is explanation is explaining in relation to ourselves, right? This is what we do in terms of our, not being very careful of transgressing your vows and so on and so forth. So we are remaining so careless most of the time.
다시 나더니 응원치 생겼더니 저 가신 뉴스 제송라디 저 간다 하고서 중간 시식에 살세지로 된다고 그러지로 저가 가서이나 쉬우지 가서기 단다 송바데 라라이스도 소소라디 같이 롱이나 카선 제바데 단다 송비 소리지.
So it's all actually talks about what we are doing, what kind of our daily activities, how can we really live our life in accordance with the ethical disciplines, and what will be the consequence, what will be the result as a by engaging in such a moral practice, or moral disciplines and so forth.
되지. 논논jel에서 저러. 논논jel에 강시 템버 투지 템버라. 양와 생신 종제 다시 봐서 되네들 동네 영원토 메세 제베 아미 체냥진 되네 라레 제비 치체냥 되나 랭가 치바토 민지 투비 론수 미바 다시나 가서 투비 간노 수민 다시나 Dendron Ronje, early Dalujan, Shesum Bishoro, Tena, Nidonge Mago Bambeji, to Chunchilak, Benetindo.
So then for as the exegesis of the discipline says, those who take lightly and slightly transgress the teachings of the compassionate teacher, thereby come under the power of suffering, just as one who cuts a grove of small bamboo and spoils a whole grove of mango.
Tanga Sogi Tua Chunching Gagoyana, and it teaches it and rigorous allow in and rigamaris. Karesana, any Tanda Casa, I mean, saying it, Shina non Chego Mendo, Shina Gendatus and Amit del Condo was a then again. Resondo.
So it's pretty clear. So those who take lightly and slightly the transgress the teachings of the compassionate teacher, thereby come under the power of suffering, just as one who cuts a grove of small bamboo can spoil the whole grove of mango. Study pitching mango around cherry.
I mean, do you say the Chunchu Shiji in the Gunudo?
They consider the mango jobs.
And then Zenda the Tenjo Jebit Bena Jibiki Tina, Zanda Benamato Terimoto Jobatama and the Donne Teritando Chejero. Too big any longer death Tasayamares. In the Jibitin and Junzi Jones Tasina Yang, and then a carre, don't be chinle Tasayamares.
So what it says here is now, once you have transgressed the moral discipline, later or sooner you will be facing the consequences. You will be, you will experience the result. It's not like some kind of criminal act. You may be able to get out of, not being caught by cops, even though if you engage in certain, it is, that's a possibility. But if you engage in actions that are, that causes undergo degeneration of your vows or your moral discipline, you have to pay the consequences. We cannot. There's no other way around.
Penande Tode Bushuja, Penanga Teringa Religion in Mandoguena, Teringa Religion to us Matua and Materi Tandoina, Jibitin Tandore, Roani, but Tandore, Kugi legend, I mentioned the better Tamewa. Then I get it. Tagmari, to be
I may be able to, do something without, following the rules, and I may be able to, succeed by not following the rules. For instance, if I take a train without paying money and without buying a ticket to get on the train, I may be able to get on, and I may be able to get the destination where I'm going. I may be able to succeed it. But then what I have done is I had transgressed my vows here by doing that. And that consequence will not go away. Because you got a free ride, that doesn't mean you'll get a free transgression. That's not going to happen. So, so this is also like a stealing, one of the, out of 10 non-virtuous action, it belongs to the act of stealing.
Then you don't get Magoba, Beijing Roa, Jela Kuna, Yang, Jim Minyamba Menjoba, Donda DP, Shituba Chita, Somba Tambeba, Shao, Sambeshuba, Ledge. Sambeshuba, Lotion in Mates Logani,
So here, those who transgress, here it says, the king's pronouncement would not be punished for a few such transgressions that we talked about earlier, but where they are transgressed improperly, the edicts of the sage, they would become animals and did the naga pratas, and therefore strive not to be polluted by the faults and infractions. However, if you should become polluted by this, do not heedlessly ignore such sins and infractions, but strive to redress them in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, as the sutra requested by the Brahma says.
거제 미바 로샤
간나는 나를
싫으면
상배시비
상배시변도 강 대den 저기 저기 기면도
나오
상배시변도래서 로발란에 템바샤스 텔라니네 댄샤스 데네 pomba마자신 속의 신양 시면샤스 따드네 댄샤와 디월라는 주바샤 셰당 수준양다바되면 도래 손도 예선의 자슈
나서
자슈 상배시변자 당자기 상배시변도를 자고 가서는 양템로는 이렇게 맞잖아 다들 돼서 말이야 등엔 자샤기라다
okay, but she said we don't have to. He doesn't want me to read, so we'll just stop here with this today. So we're on the as the sutra requested by the Brahma, okay?
당가수 테레다 당가수 단다발을 가르치는 거래전에 대도열에서는 수치 넘버 타고 마송하지 안 땡인제 템보 맞아야지 인데 싫어질라 제바 맞아야네 가서 단다발을 하와래 딱 토마 매버세디 뱀 본차 뭐지리 저war래는 하데 네 되네 노트쇼스 다른 거는 연구주 사지 하고 손다 델레 타신 버전에 오늘 땐도 대화지 두고 인스 내가 로기 두고 맞아 타입이 선제 통제 땐도 대화라 그거 인스 들으지 뭐하지로지다.
So let's do the dedication by thinking about, up until now from the beginningless time, we're unable to adopt those three high trainings, the trainings of ethical disciplines, trainings of concentrations, and trainings of this wisdom. So it is due to the lack of those three trainings, we wandered through this secular existence from the beginningless of up until now. From now on, I'll try my best to engage in the practice of the three high trainings, not only to free myself from this secular existence, to gain the state of complete enlightenment, but also for those who have not achieved, who have not reached liberation, who have not gained the liberations. I will do my best to engage in those three high trainings and free myself and all other sentient beings from secular existence, and dedicating achievement of one's own enlightenment and that of other sentient beings.
다게 주니 사비 겨원데 된동 조와 균라 감베다 제바 주선 로선 조보이 덴비니 보렌도 세제조 도제 쇼쇼네도 장 리라리제니데 제반데 상제 신도 미든 베와이 로그노도 신로 슈보쇼 근도 양도 나마단 제메 주제 변노 슈진 사도 노제 윤데 라조네 도제 창게 고본여도 쇼 고르라나 민제라가 나야다야미 렌도 베네 소니네 코도 양보 강시 사바데 노메 마레 게돈 조와나 나는 자예 원보 도주지 대모스베 세로 교도양 자베 양제 세외 제존네 덴베 림보 근산랑제조 년년 주베 제나 니시쇼 랑게 제제 도베 랑제네 쇼다 세외 장예 타게제 로예 예제 멘바 세세네 야예 덴바 유렌 젠조지 양보 renchen choge manjaba chojan nyamba jebe shode ne nyeje Chenpo Yi Rao Chobo Yi Pende Dede Sewa Sheba Jo Ye Mi Zhong Chen Le 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 Zhu Xiang Chu Lang Zhe Ren Be Jiang Tang De Nang Zhe Yu Lang Be De Xin Yao Yue Zi Ba Zhen Du Zhong Ju Ji Lang Zong Zhu Bie Tun Chen Zhu Xie Jin Ge Jin Si Jie Me Dang Mi Mi Gun Ce Ra Gun Du Jia Yue Ngang Ba Yi Lang Dang Zhe Wa Ma Ju Ji Gang Zi Te Ba Qiu La Qu Xu Ji Si Jin Zhu La Zhen Ba De Yue Ce Tu Dian Nang Zhe Da Du Zhu Xie Jin Zha Xi Jiang Zi Xiu Gun Qiao Ju Ji La Mi Gu Ce Rao Den Jin Nang Go Chen Le Shu Ju Jie Bo Dong Lo Zang Dian Bi Zhi Men Sa Song Ji Zhou Yue Mi Se Da Du Nian Ju Ji Zha Yue Gu Yue Xin Gang Su Pian Dong De Wa Ma Lin Zhong Yue Ne Xin Re Zi Wang Din Zin Jiao Zuo Yi Xiao Bei Xin Ti Ba Du Dian Ju Ji Ba Yue Qi Da Qian Ba Dong Gun Du Zang Bu De Yang De Jin De De Da Gun Jie Ji Si Da Lu Xu Ye Wan De Da Tang Ji Rao Du Gong Du Song Xi Bian Jia Wa Tang Ji Jia Wa Wa Gang La Qiu Du Ngang Ba De Da Jin Ge Yue Za Wa Du Gun Jiang Zong Bu Xu Xi Rao Du Gong Ji 哎呀，对不起。